fighting for the values that make Nebraska the good life. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Big announcement, at least for me anyway. In the next segment, I'm going to be announcing my future plans with Drive Time Nebraska. I'd like to let you know about those. So, yeah. Anyway, it's more of a bitter thing than sweet. You know when they say bittersweet? There is some, I guess there's some sweetness somewhere, but it's just a personal gut-wrenching decision. So anyway, I will announce that in the next segment. We're technically going to call this a Talk and Text Wednesday, I guess. Even with the announcement next segment, I still would like to talk about some of the leftover Trump stuff. We've got a lot of heated stuff up today from some bishop in, I guess, Washington, D.C. So we'll dig into that and some other things. We'd love for you to join us. You can call or text the Summit Lawn Talk and Text line, 402-479-1400. And you can also comment on social media, as many people do from across the state and across the country. We appreciate that as well. We're going to continue our discussion with Trump's Inauguration Day events. Yesterday, we played 2/3 of his speech. Maybe if we've got time, depending on if you call or text in or mention or comment, we might play the last of that. But there's a lot to dissect. Wyatt and I were talking yesterday. There's so much that went on. First of all, Senator Deb Fischer was just amazing. She was part of everything. I talked to somebody today from Colorado, and I said, hey, did you watch the inauguration? I said, Senator Fischer was right up front. She was wearing green. That's our senator. I'm so proud. She's like, yeah, I saw him. Like, how bold is that? So anyway, she's going to be on the show next Tuesday. So we're excited to be able to kind of to get an update of how everything went with her, which will be really good. Barron Trump, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. Man, he just crushed it. Carrie Underwood knocked it out of the park. We've got Trump executive orders. We've got Biden pardons, preemptive pardons. I mean, any of these things you want to talk about, right? Melania's outfit, man, she came out that she meant business from the first second that she came out. Trump's speech, obviously, Dem sitting like 3 feet from him. George Bush looking like a 10-year-old at the Christmas concert. I've always liked him, but then I've lost a little bit of respect as well. Some serious stuff like the hostages, former hostages, family of hostages that were on the stage at that parade. That was just an unbelievable moment that was there. Obviously, we talked about the prayers yesterday. And then today, Marianne Edgar Budde, Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, politically charged remarks that she made towards Trump yesterday at an interfaith prayer service. And I'd love to get your comments on that. Was it right, the comments she made? We will play it later on in the show. We're going to get Trump's response. He was very vocal about it. Going to get Franklin Graham's response. So this will be interesting. James says, wokeness has no place, no business in church. There you are. We're already getting comments. So we're going to play all that and discuss all that after my announcement in the next segment. All right. So Wyatt, let's take our first break here. And when we return, a major announcement about my future and my role with Drive Time Nebraska. And then we'll dig into some of this, wokeness, right, James? We'll see if it has a place or not. We'll see what people think. You can call or text in 402-479-1400. Thanks so much for listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Living in Nebraska means severe weather is always in season. Your severe weather action team is based on 1499.3 KLIN.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Fortunes await you at Warhorse Lincoln this January. Celebrate the Year of Fortune with over $30,000 in prizes. Earn entries for our Lunar New Year drawings all month long. Get one free entry daily and earn extras by playing slots, table games, or placing a horse racing bet. All leading up to Lunar New Year on January 29th, when 11 lucky guests will choose an envelope to win up to $9,999 cash. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln, Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Enjoy your life at Fallbrook Assisted Living and Memory Care in Lincoln. Here's Megan Hayes, Sales Director.
At Fallbrook, we promote a lifestyle where you choose, encouraging friendships, flavorful meals, and supportive care when you need it. We're all about you and helping you feel at home. We invite you to enjoy your life at Fallbrook Assisted Living and Memory Care. Call us for a tour.
Apartments are available. Visit fallbrookassisted.com, an MJ Senior Living community.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Disagree with Doug? The guests? The topic? Call or text 402-479-1400 now to be a part of the show. KLIN weather brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy tonight with a 30% chance of flurries and snow showers in the evening, then a 20% chance of flurries after midnight. Low in the low teens. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy with a 20% chance of flurries in the morning, high in the mid-20s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
As we get into the heart of our drive time, a couple of slow spots along I-80 at the eastbound I-80 airport exit. A rolled semi. The tow truck has just arrived. You'll want to watch for slower traffic in that area. Also, I-80 at Northwest 98th Street, an accident. Do expect slower traffic in that area. A few volume slowdowns, and we do have a few construction projects. We'll want to watch for lane shifts and lane closures. Make sure the headlights are on. If you come across anything that slows you down, call the traffic hotline 402-479-1414. That's another check of your time saver traffic.
Raising the roof on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional net violation. You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, welcome back to the show, my friends. Appreciate you tuning in. I'd like to make a difficult announcement regarding my role on Drive Time Nebraska. For me personally, this is a hard one. Back on April 8th of last year, we launched Drive Time Nebraska, and the sole focus was fighting for the values that make Nebraska the good life: fear of God, love of family, looking out for our neighbors, hard work, integrity, pride for our state. And all of that, asking the ultimate question, is this within our culture what's best for our kids and our grandkids? That's just, to me, that's bottom line. I know that's the bottom line for our governor as well, Jim Pillen. And I'm proud to say that I think we've done that, at least from my perspective. And if you know my story at all, ever since I was a kid, radio has held a very passionate place in my heart. I have dreamed for this very moment nearly all my life. Grew up in Albion, Nebraska, small farm, family farm, and vividly remember shooting baskets in our driveway, listening to American Top 40 with Casey Kasem and my little Panasonic boom box, playing those cassette tapes that I've recorded over and over, listening to them. I dreamed of what he was doing. And I was in radio for a long time, did top 40 radio, and I got out. I was a pastor for 13 years and been in business the last 20 plus years. And I always said to myself, and told God, like, if you want to be back in radio, I want to do it where I can have my voice. And just like Casey would say, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for them stars, you know what I'm saying? And that's been my heart's passion throughout my life. Dream big, stay humble. I got my first taste of radio when I was 16. The radio station opened up in Albion, KLBN. I asked my parents, hey, love to get a job there. They said, go for it. Walked in the office, general manager Mike Creasel, asked him for a job. He said, yep, You can work on the weekends playing Casey Kasem, spinning them records back then. And that started my love affair with radio. I worked with KLIR in Columbus, KHS in Hastings, B104 right here in Lincoln. And like I said before, for the next 13 years as a pastor, 22 plus years doing business, local business owner, several that I own today. 4 years ago, I was given an opportunity to begin working here at KLIM as a fill-in for the morning show and the afternoon show, and given a chance to start my own show called One Shot, One Life, which I deeply appreciate Amy Graham giving me that opportunity. That show turned into a syndicated show, airing on 20 stations across the country, from Watertown, New York to Philadelphia, Boston, Nashville, Tampa, Abilene, Texas, Lincoln, Omaha, Colorado Springs, San Diego. List goes on, Phoenix. Then about a year ago, I was given a chance to take over this iconic spot. Why do I say iconic? Because think of the history of this station and the people that have been a part of it. I'll give you just a list of a few. Walt Brown, Lita Powell Drake, Calamity Kate, loved that. My sister got to go on that show, by the way. She got burgers, McDonald's burgers, and I didn't. Always a little itch in my craw on that one. Just kidding. Ron Dean, Jim Fagan, Don Gill, Joe Patrick, Dick Perry, Jim Rose, John Bishop, John Baylor, Gary Sharp, Mark Halverson, Kobe Mack, Jane Monick, Carla James. I mean, those are just to name a few. Not to mention all the governors and senators and business leaders and sports coaches and athletes and celebrities and guests who have joined us in this studio, this very studio. As a matter of fact, it's probably the same countertop that these people were sitting at all those years ago. And now I've had the privilege of working daily with Jack Mitchell, former sports director Caleb Henry, Mark Vail, Chris Lofgren, Tom Stanton, Chase Porter, Wyatt Steffes. The list goes on. So today I'm grateful. I'm grateful and humbled that I've had this opportunity. But I'll just be raw with you. I was in Vegas over the weekend. I spoke at a big event, and I just opened up my life about how hard it's been. That's my decision. But for the past year and a half, my life has been overwhelmed with a very pressing schedule. One that I knew personally I wouldn't be able to sustain over a long period of time. And my plans were to ultimately free up more time to be able to grow this radio show. But what once in a while does happen in life happened. I hit a detour. About 4 months ago, an unexpected business situation derailed my plans, and another business opportunity presented itself. So all that being said, I have had to make the difficult decision, the heart-wrenching decision, to leave Drive Time Nebraska at the end of January. For now. In order to focus on a new professional adventure. I've also canceled my syndicated radio show, One Shot, One Life. Now, I could try to juggle it all, but I know that if I did that, the quality and excellence of my efforts would slip. And that's just not me. This is not a decision that I want to do. It's not a decision that came lightly. It's been gut-wrenching for the last couple of months because I love this. But it's a decision I need to do for my own sake, for my family's sake. I am so grateful for Broadcast House, the KLIN staff, our sales team, our sponsors. I'm going to continue to stick around. They're giving me the opportunity to guest host if needed, even keep the door open in the future for potential collaboration with KLIN because I love this station. I was not asked to step down. I was not pressured to step down. This was a decision that I had to make, and I had the grace of the leadership of this company, General Manager Amy Graham, Operations Manager Steve King, they walked with me alongside this decision. They don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. But it has to happen for now. I want to thank Amy and Steve for entrusting me with this opportunity. I get a little edgy once in a while. I'm still going to get edgy. I got a few days left. Finally, I want to thank you, the listener. I appreciate it. I've got some great friendships and just so fun, interesting conversations, great opportunities. The guests that we've had on, I want to thank them because I know there's potential future opportunities in the future because of the people that I've met. Political aspirations? Maybe. Here's what I want you to know. No plans right now have been finalized yet for what will happen with this 5 o'clock hour, other than this will stay a live hour and local. Jack Mitchell is going to fill in come, is it February 3rd? Until a decision is made. I may even pop in once in a while. Because I've told Amy, I will help bridge this gap. I'm not leaving, nor am I being forced to leave. So I thought it would be better to share this now so that over the next several days, I can continue doing what I love to do rather than to make some kind of big monumental end of the show event, which it doesn't need to be. Because this, to me, is not the end. It's just part of the journey. And I do want to share this. I do want to share this. I will remain active in what I do. I have learned, one of the things that I have learned over the last nearly year is we have so many great people in this state that need a voice to say what's going on in our culture and how are we going to make a change. That door's been open to me. The curtain's been pulled back from me. I've always told you, I felt like this show is like being a watchman. Watchman's a Hebrew term, Old Testament term. Go to Ezekiel chapter 33. A watchman is where God says, hey, initially it was tell the people of Israel where they're screwing up or where something's happening where it's going to impact them, and warn them. And if you warn them and they don't take action, that's on them. But if you don't speak from what you see is going on where you could protect them and you don't say anything, that's on you. And I've always felt that. And I'm not going to let that go, no matter where I stand on anything. And this will drive me to this is part of the passion that's driving me to do what I have to do right now, because I know it will lead to doors and opportunities in the future to continue that messaging on, to continue fighting for what makes Nebraska the good life. Yeah. There's things that need to be changed in our society. There's things that need to be changed politically. You know it, I know it. You have to stand up. I have to stand up. I talk about the political trifecta: city council, school board, county commissioner, and how important this is to our day-to-day lives. We need to keep that voice going. You need to carry that voice on. You need to get active. I need to stay active, keep moving forward. I appreciate your texts. I'm getting personal texts right now. I appreciate it. Social media messages, I appreciate it. Text into the studio, I appreciate that. I really do. But this isn't the end. To me, this is just another entry into another realm of the journey that I'm on, that God's put me on. And I do want to reiterate, I am so grateful for our leadership at Broadcast House. I won't go too deep into it, but if you know anything about radio, they could have just, when I told them that I think I need to stop, they could have just asked me to leave, and they would have every right to. Because you have to think about it, right? If I was a loose cannon, I have reign of the airwaves. But the leadership, I have a deep, rich relationship with our leadership at Broadcast House. I trust them, and they trust me. That's why I'm excited for the next few days. Going to bring on some key guests talking about issues that I believe need to be highlighted. So I am looking forward to the next week and a half. Again, thanks so much. And we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about a little Trump action. What do you mean? A little controversy there. So, all right. Thanks so much for listening to Drive Time Nebraska. We'll be back right after this.
Whatever the story, have your say.
How can politics not play a role?
Your station, your conversation.
It's all relevant.
1499.3 KLIN.
Jason Aldean, Full Throttle Tour 2025, powered by Patriot Mobile.
When lights come on, never
September 18th, Pinnacle Bank Arena. With Nate Smith.
You set my world on fire.
And Ray Lynn.
Make it easy.
Jason Aldean, on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Jason Aldean live.
Looking for top-notch vet care without breaking the bank? Check out Stransky Veterinary Center at 55th and O Street, operated by Capital Humane Society. They cater to every pet and every budget, offering basic veterinary services from spay and neutering or vaccinations to pet dental care. Affordable, quality care is just a call or click away. Schedule your appointment today at StranskyVeterinaryCenter.org or call 402-473-5370. Stransky Veterinary Center, where compassionate care meets affordability.
Which room in your home could use new flooring? Carpets Direct is your #1 source for all things floors, providing free in-home estimates, unparalleled service, and a 2-year guarantee. Your home should be your sanctuary, and Carpets Direct has you covered. From plush carpet, luxury vinyl, hardwood, laminate, and sheet vinyl flooring, Carpets Direct is the ultimate flooring destination. Call or visit today, South 48th Street, Lincoln.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy tonight with a 30% chance of flurries and snow showers in the evening, then a 20% chance of flurries after midnight. Low in the low teens. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy with a 20% chance of flurries in the morning, high in the mid-20s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
Wrapping up our traffic reports, no new accidents or major delays. Most traffic moving well and getting back to normal. The airport exit, eastbound I-80, had been closed for a while for a semi that had rolled. The exit may now be open, and the semi still there. Do use caution eastbound I-80 at the airport exit. We do have a few construction projects and utility projects. We'll want to watch for lane shifts and lane closures. Make sure the headlights are on. Driving needs your full attention. Don't be a distracted driver. Buckle up and put the phone down. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
training threes on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional technical or two. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, welcome back. Thanks so much for everybody who's coming in. I appreciate it. James, Eamon, San, Nick, Rich, Dan. I'm getting texts on my phone as well. So thank you so much for that. I also want to thank our title sponsor. They have supported me both with One Shot, One Life and with Drive Time Nebraska. It's Lincoln Coin and Bullion. I love those people. I mean, they are just amazing. So if you're looking at buying gold, silver, platinum, or palladium, you got to do it. You go to them. Or if you're looking at selling sterling flatware, if it's $100 or $1 million, they can handle it. And they work by appointment only. Nearly 20 years they've been in business, well trusted within the state and the Midwest. Call them up, 402-327-2853 for a personal appointment, or you can go to the website, lincolncoinandbullion.com. For those of you that are interested, and I'll probably note this as well down the road, I will be emceeing the Lincoln Reagan Annual Unity Dinner. That will be March 6th. Key speaker will be Governor Jim Pillen, a good friend, and I just appreciate him. And it'll be fun. That's a great event. I love doing that. So I want to thank the leadership there for inviting me for that. So I'm not out of it. Angeline, thank you so much. James, thank you so much for the comments coming in. So, all right. This will be interesting as we get into this. We're gonna talk about this. We'll get your thoughts on this. Yesterday, we played majority of President Trump's inauguration speech, along with the opening prayer from Franklin Graham, closing prayer from Lorenzo Sewell, which was amazing. If you missed it, you can check out the podcast, KLIN.com, or your favorite podcast service. Again, if you have got comments or questions today, all you do is call or text them in. The Summit Lawn Talk and Text line 402-479-1400. We'd love to hear from you on this quasi Talk and Text Wednesday. So let's just jump right into this. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about from Monday, but yesterday, there was some interesting things happen that's caused a lot of ruckus on social media. President Donald Trump blasted Mary Ann Edgar Buddy, Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, after she directed politically charged remarks towards the president at an interfaith prayer service for the country at the Washington National Cathedral. Now, Buddy has been a hardcore critic. Now, you have to understand this. You've got to understand the background of this. She has been very vocal on all kinds of platforms, bashing Trump, withdrawing support from police during the George Floyd riots. Very critical. You need to dig in. See, this is all about, here we go. This is all about pulling back the curtain. Do not jump on a bandwagon because of what you initially see. Dig in a little bit. This whole Hitler salute thing from Musk, come on. Now everybody's pulling up anybody who's raised their arm up. But no, we're going to pull it off like immediately. I saw a salute. He must be a Hitler follower. Come on. We're smarter than this. Don't just react. Dig in a little bit before you jump on the bandwagon. Black Lives Matter. I'm going to go back to this. When that hit during 2020, immediately I went to their website when everybody else was jumping on the bandwagon. All my friends, people from a faith background. Boy, it sounded good on the surface, right? It sounded great on the surface. But if you went to their website and they took it down within days, they were following a Marxist manifesto, and their initial focus was to destroy the traditional family unit. That was it. They wanted to break up moms and dads and their kids. Of course, we saw it finally play out years afterwards, right? How corrupt all that was. But my point being is people jumped on the bandwagon right away because it sure sounded great. Marianne Edgar Buddy sure sounds great in some cases in this. But if you look at her past and where she stands on things and where she stands on Trump, you'll hear this from a different perspective. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play a clip from what she said at this prayer service. We'll see what Trump said about it. We're going to get some more remarks about it. I'm also going to play what Franklin Graham says about this, because now we're looking at two polar opposites from the faith community. I don't know anything about Marianne or if she's respected. I do know Franklin Graham, and he's respected. All right, here's what she said.
Let me make one final plea. Mr. President, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
I know we're seeing comments from people coming in already against this, that it doesn't have any place here for this. The Bible says it's the most woke book ever, and we're supposed to take care of people. It'll be interesting. I'm going to play Franklin Graham's comment here in a second. All right. Here's what Trump said. The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater, and that is true. Just go look. She's got her own little clips everywhere bashing Trump. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that have come into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. Of course, that's Trump's, right? So Trump's going to react his way. She's going to state her thing. He's going to state his thing. Representative Andy Barr from Kentucky said this on X. As a conservative Episcopalian who supports President Trump and his agenda, I am profoundly disappointed that Bishop Marianne Buddy politicized today's inaugural service of prayer for the nation by disregarding President Trump's appointment of Scott, now we'll talk about this later, of Scott Bessent, a brilliant and openly gay man to serve as the Treasury Secretary, and Elon Musk, a genius, first-generation legal immigrant, to lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Bishop Buddy's gratuitous criticisms ring hollow. Now, I think what's fair now is let's see what Franklin Graham says about this. I want to know. I think we should all know. I think he is well respected in this. So I want to get different people's perspectives. All right. Here's what Franklin had to say about it.
She was wrong to do that. That was really a national forum, a national stage, pulpit that she was standing in. And for her to use that for her own political agenda was wrong. And plus, you're talking about compassion. Give me a break. If you want to have compassion, then we should have just had 747s come from all around the world, let people just fly into the United States and let them off the airplane. But what we did is what the Biden administration did, said, listen, the border is open. If you can make your way to the border, come on. And so people went to Venezuela and Mexico, but come up to the Darien Gap through Panama. Women were raped, people were killed, children died along the way. And so now you get to the border. If you can come across the Rio Grande and make your way through the barbed wire, then compassion, come on. These people suffered a lot to come here illegally, and the Biden administration is responsible for all of this mess. But the people need to go back and come in legally. So I support the president on that. It has nothing to do with compassion. It's to do what's right. If you want to have compassion, then have the law the same for everybody. Don't have a law for one group and another law for another group. No, it's one law fits all, and we need to stay with that. Well, she is a socialist activist, LGBTQ plus agenda, and that's so she's just wrong. I don't know why they have her there. I would hope that whoever the powers that be would put somebody in the cathedral who doesn't have a political agenda or a sexual political agenda.
Interesting comments. Interesting backdrop on that. Two sides there. And we can get into the argument of what the Bible says or what Jesus says. I mean, we can go back and forth. The reality is what she did was very intentional. She took her moment. I'm not going to, blame her for that moment. Trump took his moment. The question is, was it right? Interesting. All right. I'd love to hear your comments. We got a lot coming in. We'll read some of those when we come back. We'll take a quick break here. And we'll find out what you feel, and we'll keep the conversation going. 402-479-1400. You can also comment on social media. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Cities from across the state, they're listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
1499.3 KLIN. You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Sports Nightly is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Shop Woodhouse Mazda, the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers, and find the perfect vehicle for your next adventure. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-90 PHEV Preferred for just $399 per month. Visit us in-store or online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com today. 33 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit. Tax, title, license extra. $2,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number X250217. Offer expires January 31st, 2025. See dealer for details.
At Pemberley Place Senior Living here in Lincoln, our experts help you enjoy life every step of the way. Pemberley Place offers a continuum of care campus for independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Surround yourself with activity, good friends, great food, and a new outlook on life. Plus all the personalized and attentive care you deserve. For apartment availability, visit PemberleyPlace.com. That's PemberleyPlace.com, an MJ Senior Living community.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy tonight with a 30% chance of flurries and snow showers in the evening, then a 20% chance of flurries after midnight. Low in the low teens. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy with a 20% chance of flurries in the morning, high in the mid-20s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
Now back to more Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. Obviously, this is very polarizing. I appreciate that. I'm not gonna dig into this from my perspective. I want to use this as an example. To say, listen, you've got to take into account both sides. And just to jump on one side for the other, and I don't care which side it is. You jump on the bishop's side and be all for the bishop. You can jump on Trump's side and be all for Trump. The point is, where's the truth found in the middle? That's the point. And I think a lot of times, rather than pulling back and doing some digging to find out where is the motivation for some of this stuff coming from, then we just blindly go into a conversation like Harvard Political Review. And by the way, James is on line one. We'll get to him in just a second. Harvard Political Review. This came out on Monday. Alexandra Fireman writes, Trump's rhetoric echoes Hitler. What kind of dictator restores free speech and halts the weaponization of the government on day one? Do you see the diversity of his cabinet? Gay, straight, men, women, black, white, Indian, Democrat, Republican, young, old. See what I'm talking about here? But no, you could jump on the bandwagon and say, Trump's Hitler. He's going to take over the country. He doesn't care about anybody else. Hispanic, Asian American. I mean, look at his look who he's surrounding himself with. All right, James is on line one. James, thanks so much for calling in. What are your thoughts today?
So I'm not a big Trump fan by any means, but my complaint about how this went down has nothing to do with Trump or his politics, and it has nothing to do with the bishop's politics either. The comments that she made, if you read the comments, there are none of those comments that are inappropriate to be made in a church. He asked for him to take mercy upon people who are poor and marginalized. And there is nothing inappropriate about that. If the problem is that it was at a setting where she said it to the president, then the problem really is those comments aren't improper in a church. That is what should be said in a church, because that's what it says in the Bible. He wasn't talking, the comments she was making about poor and marginalized people, she didn't make comments that said, this is inappropriate, or this is okay with me, this is not a sin, this is a sin. She just said, have mercy upon these people.
I think
if the problem, go ahead. Sorry, Doug.
No. I think I agree with that, right? If you listen on the surface, I agree with all that. I think where it became political is where she said this certain group of people is scared that they're going to die. And I think when Trump's sitting there, she's basically saying, because of you, we have a group of people now that are afraid for their lives. Having mercy on people, I completely understand that. But I think as I rewatched that because I was thinking the same thing, like, man, this sounds great. This is perfect. But then when she says, this group of people is afraid that they're going to die. And that's where it kind of was like, ooh, I don't know about that.
Well, I will tell you, I have some clients and some people that have connections in that community. And what I'm being told by these people is that is absolutely true.
But who's going to,
these are people.
But what I'm saying is, now you're saying you're blaming a group of people saying that they're out to kill people. And that's what I don't get.
But I don't think she said, Mr. President, you're going to kill these people. I think she said, these people have this fear.
But it's implied. So, I mean, that's very clear.
Yeah, but maybe it is implied, but it's still his rhetoric has been strong. his rhetoric about illegals has called them all, lumped them all together, and said they are all rapists, they all are murderers. He has said that, and it's not true.
I agree. There's a lot of extremism there. The truth is illegal. That's the truth. That's the only thing.
I think the problem with this is it was inappropriate because this wasn't really a church service. It was a political event. And when you start using a church for political purposes, that's where you get the problem. Because the church and the Bible are apolitical completely.
You nailed it. That was it. I think you nailed it. I think we call it a prayer service, but the reality is, like you said, it was a political event.
It's a political event. And the problem that people are having is she took an opportunity during a political event to do that.
Which, like I said before, I wouldn't blame her. She was put in that position. She can do whatever she wants to do, just like Trump did.
She's in a church building. Right. But maybe the lesson is don't use a church building as a political prop.
Well, there you go. That goes both sides too, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does.
I think, was it Trump that had the Bible? And was it the last election where he was standing in front of a church with, I can't even remember what the scenario was, but it was pretty clear.
It was during the BLM protest where he cleared the square to go there and hold the Bible upside down.
Yeah. So, all right, James, thank you so much. Great conversation. Appreciate that. See, that's what this needs to be about. This is dialogue and identifying, like what we just did. You dig a little deeper. You don't take things for the surface. And James boiled it down to really what the point is. This was a political event held in a church. And now you have just stirred the hornet's nest, either side. And nobody is going to come. Nobody from that, no matter what side you fall in, is going to be joined together. She's calling for compassion and she's calling for peace and she's calling for all this stuff. It's not going to happen in a situation like that because she intentionally stirred the hornet's nest and vice versa. So great comments. See, that's the dialogue I like. That's the dialogue I love. All right. If you want to listen to the podcast of this show, you can go to klin.com or you can go to your favorite podcast service and you can tune in there. Again, thanks so much for listening today. I appreciate that. If you want to hear why I am stepping back, you can listen to the show again. I'm excited about the next several days of the show. We've got some great guests coming up. It's just going to be great. I'm going to stick around. I'll be around. I'll be like, a little, I don't know, maybe a little moss that sticks underneath the rocks every once in a while, and I'll still be here. Wyatt, thank you so much for producing. Only 82,800 seconds left until we see each other again, my friends. Seize everyone. Sports Nightly is next, along with Husker men's basketball. Have a great night, and go Big Red.
From the Momo Pizzeria and Ristorante Studios, we are the voice of Lincoln. KLIN Lincoln. KDDK HD3 Lincoln. K257GN Lincoln is 1499.3 KLIN.